Good afternoon. My name's Don Jakes. I'm the Deputy Information Officer here with the Great Basin Team 2 that's assisting with the management of the August complex here on the northeast zone of the fire. Today is October 16th, and I'll be providing you your afternoon-evening update. I want to start off by talking a little bit about the weather conditions. We have had red flag warning conditions out there today, basically fire watch weather. And what that consists of is abnormally high temperatures, also very low humidities, and some wind. To put some things into perspective, today here in Redding, we had temperatures recorded as much as 98 degrees. The normal for Redding is 79, so that's almost 20 degrees normal than would be anticipated at this time of year. Here across the fire, we did have temperatures in the high 80s to low 90s across different sections of the fire, as well as wind gusts that were up to 20 and 25 miles an hour. Those winds were predominantly out of the northeast, and so while we had those conditions, we did see an uptake in fire activity, but it really has not hurt us as far as our fire suppression activities here in the northeast zone. I'll point out a few areas here on the fire as we go along, but just to give you an orientation again to the map, we have Redding that's off to the east, and then this is the Highway 36 corridor as it continues north of the fire area, progressing through the fire and off to the west. This is the area here of Ruth Lake. We have Hayfork to the north, some of the communities here of Platina and Begum, and Mad River again over here on the western portion. So kind of orientate you to what we're looking at. Now, the fire, as we said, some of the fire activity did increase, basically as that very low humidity caused the fuels to be more receptive to burning, as well as when it gets a little bit of that wind on it, it really stirred up the fire in different locations. But most of that was on the interior here in the northeast zone. We did have some activity here that's kind of west of the old Buck fire from 2017. Some of the fire activity did increase up here within some of the fire perimeter south of Progeny, but things along our fire perimeter and lines, that was actually holding really well. Some of the smoke that people may have seen was more over here just in the Xenia and Kennepaw areas here in the northwest zone. What has that meant for the fire suppression activities? I'll go ahead and share a little bit about what's been going on today. Very similar things to as we've talked about in previous days. Starting here in the western portion of our zone, fire crews continue to work this area just to the very northern portion of the fire perimeter. Along the eastern section here on the 14 road, fire crews have been going and doing what we call gridding, where they're covering all of that area, really going so far, 30 to 100 feet within the actual fire area, making sure that that area is cold and that there's not a chance for that to eventually escape. And we're hoping that in the next couple of days that in this area we will be able to call this portion contained. Things are holding really well here too as the fire perimeter goes down into the South Fork of the Trinity River drainage. There have been a few areas of heat down in the bottom, kind of the river bottom areas there, and fire crews, we've had some of our hotshot crews going in there, again extinguishing those areas of heat. We've also had helicopters that have been coming in and assisting in keeping some of these locations cool and addressing any needs that we had there to keep the fire in check in that location. Here to the north, fire crews have continued some of our contingency operations in the event that we did have any concerns, but things are looking really good in the contingency. They're basically going in there where they already have dozer lines that are constructed, widening those, clearing things out, just strengthening those lines. As you progress here further to the east, we have fire crews that continue to mop up and patrol this area south of Post Mountain, coming on in over to what we've called the Begum Thumb or the Begum Creek area. And in here, fire crews continue to mop up and patrol this, but this line is looking very good despite again, the red flag warning conditions today. Fire crews, the Marines and others that are in there have been able to get a lot of good work accomplished. And we've talked about before, as you continue further over to the east, in this area here, now we're really looking at that portion of fire suppression repair, where we're going in some of the dozer lines and things that we've had of how do we go in and basically correct those things, bringing them back to a more natural and normal state, taking care of those fire suppression activities. couple areas of highlight I just want to share is the Trinity Sheriff did release the evacuation order for a small section here in the Forest Glen area today, and would encourage you to look at the Trinity County Sheriff's Facebook page for those specific evacuation order. It was lifted to a evacuation warning here this afternoon. So that's really your report on the fire today. If you have further questions, as always, go to our August Complex INSEE webpage, or to look at the Six Rivers, Shasta Trinity, and Mendocino National Forests Facebook pages. Thank you for your time this afternoon.